I don't know. What's going on, Facebook? I was and am gonna make this a YouTube video, but I got caught up doing some other stuff, and then the taco man called me, was like, yo, I'm about to come through and bring you these bundles of tacos. So I'm stationary and I don't have time to make videos and eat tacos. So I'm just making this quick live so I remember what was on my mind to inspire the video later. I think the coloreds want to be perpetual slaves, right? Because they whole dictation is about slavery. As a matter of fact, I started calling you all the colors and separated myself from the whole black experience once y'all started yelling that audio shit. And I'm like, descendants of slaves? That's not true. Like, there was 800,000 slaves in a nation of 6 million. Everybody ain't descend from slaves. Y'all just want to be slaves. That's goofy shit. I'm out. Because black is not a race. Black ain't even a color, because most of the people you call black, if you pull out a crayon, they're not black. Black is a culture, and I can go in and out of any culture I want to go out. You know what I'm saying? I used to be deep house culture. I'm not. I used to be hip hop culture. You ain't seen me in a Wu-Tang t-shirt in 20 years. You can opt out of a culture. So I'm like, yo, I don't want to be part of people who embrace being descendants of slaves. That's just goofy. Here's the thing. Everybody's been a slave, right? Except for Britain, every nationality has been a slave. The Jews, the Russians, shit, China just got Hong Kong back. The French keep getting conquered, but Britain bails them out, so they haven't experienced slavery, but they've been conquered several times. The Germans were slaves. That's where you get the words barbarian from, because when the Romans were making them slaves, everything they said sounded like bar, 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 so the Romans called them barbarians. Italy, everybody's been a slave. Sicily was conquered so much that they got olive skin. They look like what y'all call black people in Italy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's been a slave. So calling yourself a descendant of a slave is some goofy shit. Plus, I know my lineage, right? So when I look at it and I say, okay, my great-great-grandfather on my grandmother's side was from Turtle Island out in South Carolina. That's not slave. My great-great-grandfather, they came down from Wisconsin, you know what I'm saying, in the 1860s. So they weren't slaves, because slavery was over in 1865, so they already had to be free. So I don't descend from slaves, so that means I don't even fit with the colors, right? So slavery is this weird thing, right? That you have to quantify yourself in order to receive reparations, right? So when I say tribe up, and I call colors, girls hate getting called colors because they oh my God, I'm not a colored, I'm a black, which is a color. I call y'all colors because everything y'all do constitutes a color. Y'all want to have a line coalition. Y'all want to adopt a whole continent y'all ain't never been to, don't know the culture, heritage, nationalities, can't name the countries, but y'all like, we African, just based strictly on color. Y'all want to grab people with their own flags like Jamaicans and Haitians and be like, oh my God, y'all dark skin too, we part of the same color. Color doesn't dictate culture. Americans, a lot of us are indigenous to this nation, so this is how they came up with black. Let me tell you how they came up with black. It came up with black because everybody has different shades of people, right? So when they decided to do what they call the reclassification, everybody got reclassed. So the light-skinned natives were called Indians at that time. We call them natives now, but they was Indians then. And the dark skins were called Negroes, because Negro was Spanish for black, you know, dark. So they separated the light-skinned ones and put them in reservations, took the dark-skinned ones and did something else. Now, America's always done this. They do this right now, today, right now, with the Mexicans. You ever look at the application that say Hispanic, white, you know what I'm saying, or Hispanic, non-white, because it's dark-skinned Mexicans. So they still classify you, even if you both Mexican, both got Spanish descent, they still separate you by color. You know what I'm saying? That's the way, but that does not dictate a tribe. The light-skinned ones got to be tribes and get to get reparations. So you get Native American / Pacific Islander. They get in the same classification. And they get paid for that. You get paid to be an Alaskan or a Pacific Islander. They get a check every month. The reparations y'all talk about, they get. The dark-skinned ones don't get no fucking check because y'all not in a tribe. And y'all can't listen to y'all hate the smart kids, so the motherfuckers that'll help you get a tribe, y'all won't give them no pussy or no money to stay in the neighborhood, so they leave and get white girls. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get a Mexican though. So you look at this and you say, why can't you get reparations? Number one, because you didn't name yourself. Somebody else called you black. When somebody else give you a name, you indebted to them. Until you create your own, like I'm Oak. I refuse to be Edna's grandson. I didn't want to be Shireen little brother. You ain't gonna call me Shorty folks. None of that shit. Remember my name, nigga. I'm Oak. So once my name is my name, no matter what I do, good or bad, motherfuckers gonna be like, yo, that's Oak. The same thing has to be done about your tribe. You have to say, man, I'm such and such. Whether you Blackfoot or Chickasaw or Iroquois or Seminole or whatever it is, you have a tribe, and every tribe is its own nation, and it's respected as a nation, because everything about America, all our corporate law is tribal law. You know what I'm saying? For those of y'all who live in opportunity zones, or in Chicago they call them hub zones, they all say, man, what's your tribal code? But y'all don't want a tribe. Y'all think tribing is getting better bitches. Like our bitches unruly. If we had a tribe, then we can bring some order. Y'all still worried, y'all thinking about y'all dick still. Y'all still thinking about love. Y'all not thinking about infrastructure, education, re-education in order to create the indoctrination needed for you to feel superior. Y'all still going back 100. Do you realize slavery was over in 1863? So that's 150 years ago. 160 almost. Then Jim Crow ran into the 1930s, 40s. So that's 80 years ago. Y'all still going off that shit. Do you know how ingrained it is who indoctrinated you to feel like a victim and a perpetual slave, a forever slave? That's an indoctrination. So y'all got to re-educate, which means an entire curriculum that you control, just like the Mexicans do with Ola. You see all these bilingual schools out here. The Mexicans have their own deal with the state to fund their schools so they can educate their kids the way that they want to. So does the Christians with the Catholic schools. So do most charter schools. What blacks want is for somebody else to pay their lot in life. They're like, we want a public school and they need to educate us better. Really? You depend on somebody else to educate you, and you want a better education. And that's when they coming through and say, we're going to educate you how we want to, and we're going to teach your third grader that sucking dick is cool. We're going to bring trannies in for the tranny story hour, and we're going to teach them, man, that gender confusion is what's up. But we're not going to teach them how to read, write, or count. We're going to teach them about sexuality and how to be in touch with their emotions. Because that's what happens when somebody else pays the way for your lifestyle. They say, and that's why y'all believe that y'all got some type of attachment. I think the worst thing that happened to the colors was the movie Roots, because the story of one family got y'all thinking that everybody from Africa. Just like the Bible is a story of one family, but everybody think that Jesus is a savior. That's one family. That's why it says Joseph was beget by Obez, which was beget by such and such and such and such, and goes all the way back to Adam, because it's one family. Y'all take a story of one family and running with that shit like it's a unilateral story for every phase in life. And that shit's crazy to me. That's just bananas to me how slow y'all are. Look, I used to like y'all being slow when I wasn't a virgin, before I found my virginity, because it was easy to get pussy. But now it's just irritating. Look, in order to get the reparations y'all are looking for, you have to be able to be noticed as an indigenous tribe. I'll give you a perfect example. The Jews, right? Two examples, actually. The Jews and the $5 Indians, right? So it's a lot of white Indians because they paid $5 to be reclassed as Indians. They chose their own tribe. And that way, because they had that land grab, they had the land, I forgot what they call it. But anyway, when they opened up Oklahoma and Nebraska and Kansas, and they said they were only going to sell it to Indians, the way the white people got to buy land there is to reclassify themselves and pay to be seen as Indians, and then they were $5 Indians. Just like the Mexicans doing right now, calling themselves Mexican whites, right? So they want white privilege. The second example is the Jews. America never enslaved Jews. America ain't had shit to do with the Jews. Nothing. That's some whole other shit. But America pays reparations to the Jews every year. Why? Because they identified as a tribe, and they're not even Jews, they Jew-ish. You know what I'm saying? Anything with an ish on it is light. You know what I'm saying? It's as, right? So I'm as a Jew, but they're not even Jews. And white people that paid to be Jews like they paid to be $5 Indians. And they get the reparations based on the legislation that's clout for tribal funding. Blacks want to be black and still get money, even though constitutionally you still 3/5. I ain't gotta do shit for you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even one of us. You 3/5, nigga. When you want to be a whole man, then do, you know what I'm saying, do man shit. Men gotta do men things for men's salary. Don't come to me and ask, man, if we join your tribe, oh, where the bitches at? Nigga, you turn GD, you can get all the SOS sisters. The bitches is everywhere. Do you want to be emancipated? Do you want to get this money? They'll pay you for everything, but you got to do the legwork. If you build it, people will come. If you build a school, the state will pay for it. But you got to build it and then file the $1,600 for the registration fee, and then they'll pay you the same way they pay every home daycare, every learning center. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers, how can y'all see this shit when it's somebody else taking care of your kids, but you can't see this shit as a business opportunity for yourself? That's just, and this is why I don't really fuck with the colors. Look, somebody bring me some tacos, man. I got motherfucking sex me saying my Porsche, the taco man pulling up. I can't keep going through this, but man, I'm gonna start a tribal series, and I'm gonna teach people how to get on tribal code and how to interpret the infrastructure. Because I'm not trying to be chief of the Indians. That's not my goal in life. My goal is not to be chief of the Indians. My goal is to set up a duplicatable system like every other MLM or affiliate marketing program does for sales. You can duplicate the same thing for anything. The Boy Scouts is duplicatable. That's why they had troops. The United Way, the Urban League, as goofy as they are, the March of Dimes, they all duplicatable. You know what I'm saying? You can have your own joint, but you still have to follow the bylaws and infrastructure in order to get your own joint. And I teach people how to do that when I get a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? But I'm hitting niggas over the head because this ain't for everybody, man. You gotta pay for freedom papers. But for those that's interested, I'm gonna get you there, man. You know what I'm saying? This ain't for toddlers. This is for grown folks. My man cutting grass, y'all probably can't hear me no way. So on that note, man, love each other as you love yourself. Feed the pack.